Hello everyone, welcome to the series of our ongoing mains Samadhaan, where we put every day one question from mostly from all GS subjects. So today we have one question from GS1, that is, what was the evolution of Swaraj in our Indian independence movement? So it means from the starting of Indian independence, how the word Swaraj came, what was the meaning of Swaraj, how the concept or the meaning changed over the years. That is what we have to write. So evolution of Swaraj, first of all, when we talk about evolution of Swaraj, it was Swami Dayanand Saraswati who first coined the term Swaraj and said it is India for Indians. India is for Indians and they will rule themselves. Fine. But he did not elaborate more on it, and that point of time there was no pan-India party also like INC, because the timing was 1876. Now after some years in INC came 1885. So INC, the most majority members were from moderates, because there are two factions, moderates and extremists, and the majority were moderates. So moderates had the notion of Swaraj, that is dominion status. Now what do you mean by dominion status? Dominion status means the major portfolios like banking, telecommunications, external affairs, defense, they all will be controlled by the British. But small portfolios like local self-government, health, they may be given to the provinces. So it means it is not full independence, it's kind of a partial independence. So after the Bengal partition, 1905, when G.K. Gokhale was the president, he first time referred the word Swaraj. Now again, this Swaraj is nothing but dominion status. After 1 year, in 1906 INC session, again another moderate, that is Dadabhai Nauroji, he demanded explicitly the word Swaraj. Now here in 1905 he only referred, but in 1906 he demanded explicitly the word Swaraj. Now one point to be noted here is, this all started because of the Bengal partition. Because Bengal partition happened, boycott movement happened against the Bengal partition, that is the anti-partition movement, and in that time this thing started. But it was in this time when extremists also demanded, like Tilak. Extremists like Tilak, they also demanded Swaraj. But that Swaraj was full independence. But that Swaraj was full independence. I'm talking about 1905 and 1906. But at that point of time, because the majority were moderates, so the resolutions which were getting passed were from the interpretation of moderates. Fine? Okay. Now after this, Tilak went to jail in 1908 because of sedition. Now after some time, Home Rule movement happened. Annie Besant and Tilak. Now Annie Besant and Tilak in Home Rule movement, the objective was also self-rule. Now in self-rule, at that point of time, it was again dominion status. Now here, Tilak had changed his stance, because after he came from jail, Tilak was a changed person. Okay. Now it was also self-rule. Now Home Rule movement was also a kind of a success. It connected the masses. Now when it was going very good, and even Annie Besant was also arrested, and it was taking its peak. So the government, the British government, brought August Declaration of 1917, where they clearly mentioned that from now the demand of self-rule will not be considered as seditious. If anything you are demanding and that is self-rule, and that self is nothing but dominion status, that will not be considered as seditious. So in a way, if you see carefully, implicitly the British government accepted self-rule. Implicitly, it is saying it will not be considered seditious. And because of this, in 1919, the Government of India Act came, that is 1919, where for the first time they talked about elections, direct elections. They talked about direct elections where parties, local parties can contest elections and people will vote. Yes, it was not universal adult franchise. 10 to 11% people will vote who have properties and who give taxes. Like in a way, the rich people will vote. So it means direct elections, people are voting. So it means it is a self-rule. It is a self-rule, but again, dominion status. So here, self-rule with dominion status came from the side of British. Okay. Now moving ahead. Now Gandhi also was into the limelight after 1915, after Champaran, Ahmedabad, Kheda, 1920 non-cooperation movement. So Gandhi's ideology was, now Gandhi's concept of Swaraj was self-rule, but with morality aspect. He told, now obviously his self-rule will also change. Initially his self-rule is dominion, but after that self-rule will change to, in the Lahore session, it will change, okay, to full independence. But overall the Gandhi's concept of Swaraj is self-rule plus morality aspect, because he always said every people should be moral from inside. Now his theory was, if everybody is moral from inside, so we do not need anybody to rule us, we will rule ourselves, that is self-rule. So he always advocated stateless society, and village will be the unit of democracy. Okay. Now in 1921, a trade union congress was formed by Lala Lajpat Rai. In 1920, All India Trade Union Congress. Now All India Trade Union Congress, it was formed by Lala Lajpat Rai. In the second year of its meeting, that is Jharia session of AITUC, they demanded Purna Swaraj. So they are the first one, if you talk about a particular organization or a group, they are the first one to demand Purna Swaraj. Now moving ahead, in 1928, after the Nehru report, after Nehru report by Motilal Nehru, where dominion status was a point. Against that point, Subhash Chandra Bose and Jawaharlal Nehru formed the Independence for India League, where they demanded full independence. They demanded full independence. Okay. Now, because of Independence for India League, immediately after 1 year, that is 1929, Lahore session, Purna Swaraj, for the first time INC demanded Purna Swaraj. So INC demanded Purna Swaraj. Okay, so this is here where the Indians finally, they all said, now our motive or main aim is, we'll demand for Purna Swaraj. If we don't get it, so we'll move ahead with our revolutions. For example, Gandhi gave his 11 points, then civil disobedience movement started. So everything was going on. RTC was going on. Even in RTC also no discussion, no fruitful discussion happened, because INC was only part of the second RTC. So those all things will not write here because it's not needed, because we are only focusing on the Swaraj aspect. Because it is a mains question. Basically, it is a mains question. So we have to keep the evolution of Swaraj. We'll stick to the Swaraj part. Now again, Government of India Act 1935 came. Now Government of India 1935 also talked about All India Federation. Even if the full control was not with the Indian states or the peninsular states, the control will be with the Viceroy or the Governor General or the British. So here also dominion status. Even in August offer, after World War II, when the Indians were not okay with participation, so the British gave an offer, that is, okay, you participate with us, we are giving you this offer, August offer. And in August offer also there was provision of dominion status. Now these are all from the British perspective. British is still into dominion status mode. Okay, so these are all getting cancelled from INC. Same goes with Cripps mission. Again dominion status, the British is offering dominion status. Again gets cancelled. Finally, cabinet mission came in 1946, which talks about undivided India and talks about categorization of states, group A, B, C, not to write here in full because the question is not about cabinet mission. However, it talks about constituent assembly. Now the thing is, here they don't explicitly talk about dominion status, but they're talking about constituent assembly. Even they have talked about constituent assembly here also, but here they are talking about dominion status. Here there is no mention of dominion status, but there is talking about constituent assembly. It means it is understood that in future we are the one who will make our constitution. Okay, and here proper Indians will sit through election, through indirect election. So it means there is a indirect saying ki okay, independence will be given to you, but before that you need to make your constitution. Finally, Mountbatten plan came and division plan came, and from that the Indian Independence Act happened, where the final independence we got. So this is how the evolution of Swaraj happened, starting from the late 19th century and going through full the process of national movement till 1947. Thank you.